Welcome, mystery lovers. Your trusty crime detectives are back on the case. I'm Keri, the clueless one who's mostly confused, but still on the case.
I'm Lindsey, and I'm the claustrophobic one.
And I'm Crystal. I'm the one who loves glow sticks, but I've never been to a rave.
This episode is part 2 of my March mystery pick, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson and its 2024 TV show adaptation. We will be covering the material in episodes 3 and 4 of the TV show. If you'd like to see our ratings and where we talked about episodes 1 and 2 of the show, that is in the previous part, in part 1. So this is going to be full of spoilers of episodes 1 through 4 of the TV show. So I'm going to try my absolute best to not spoil episodes 5 and 6, but I am the clueless detective, and you're not allowed to hate the clueless detective because it's against the rules. And I don't make the rules. You just got to follow the rules.
We just
You're
write
not
them.
allowed to hate them. Yeah. I don't make the rules, I just write them. That's for the tech writers out there. You get if you know, you know. So if you haven't watched up to episode 4 of the TV show or read the book, do that, then come back and hang out with us, or just be completely spoiled, and maybe we can convince you to check it out. But before we start, let's get into some content warnings. You've probably already heard the content warnings in part 1, but you're going to hear the content warnings again, because just because it's a young adult novel doesn't mean it's not dark. Content warnings are murder, violence, themes of suicide, trauma and emotional abuse, gore, substance abuse, talk of rape, sexual assault, kidnapping, animal death, and drug use. If I miss some, Storygraph is a great source to find content warnings as well. So before we get into our episode 3 and 4 show versus book breakdown, I'm going to do a little recap where we left off in part 1, which previously we left off in for the book and the movie. Pip, our main character, discovered that Max, the friend of Sal, or quote, the friend, we don't know if he's actually a friend, of Sal, who was also the apparent, supposed to be an alibi for Sal, the very beginning, who is the murder suspect and the boyfriend of Andy. And we know that Max knows Andy a lot more than what he is letting on, because he has a topless photo of Andy. This is a way to start the episode. He's got a topless photo of Andy, and he
knows a
revealed
lot about Andy.
And he revealed that Andy used to sell him drugs at these, quote, calamity parties. So now we're getting into episode 3 of the TV show. I just want to do a quick soundtrack shout out of the TV show, because this soundtrack is amazing.
It's pretty damn good.
I love this soundtrack. And you know what? A little thing that the show's doing that I literally love is that the show doesn't have like a theme song. The show is like putting the song that's in the very like part of the episode and pulling it through the credits in the beginning of the show. And it's so good.
I really liked
so
that.
Good. I love that. That's like my favorite part of the show. And there's something about a soundtrack that just like sends me to the moon. Like I'll literally, if a song is really good in like a show or like a movie trailer or something, I'll literally start levitating. I'll just start levitating off my seat.
She floats now.
Yeah, I'll just start floating, because if you know, you know. Like, please tell me someone else agrees with me out there, because when the music hits, like, I'm literally levitating. I'm just floating around my room, and I'm listening to it 100 times. And I'll, like, rewatch a scene 100 times whenever there's, like, a really good music in the background.
So if she really likes something, she makes it all the way to the moon. But if she hates it, she's stuck in orbit.
Yeah, I'm just orbiting.
I think that's the new scale.
Yeah,
the new Keri
also, it
scale.
depends on the context and how I'm saying it, too.
Right. Because it might send her to orbit, but it might send her to orbit.
Exactly. Okay. Now that I've talked 5 minutes about the freaking soundtrack. Oh my god. So
Right
Pip
off the bat, huge difference in the book and the movie that had me like, wait, what? A calamity party in the show, or the show, not movie, sorry. A calamity party is basically a rave. It's out in the
Yeah.
woods or a random
Mhm.
location. In this case, it's in a cave system. And it's a rave complete with like DJ, glow sticks, like lots of drug use, lots of drinking. Like a calamity party in the book was like a house party.
Yep.
Like
Mhm.
specifically, they use the phrase house party at one point.
Yeah.
It was just someone's parents are gone. We're going to trash the house and we're having a big old party.
Yeah.
In the book, the parents even kind of know that, like, Pip's parents know she's going to this party. And they're like, oh, our little girl's going to her first calamity, like with drinking and everything. And they like kind of like tease her that, like, you know, she's a big girl now. She's going to parties. Like, I don't know, it was awkward to me. I was just
And
like, who? What?
She was wearing a super short dress too, and they're like, "Oh yeah, your first party. I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you."
Mhm.
Her
Yeah.
mom was just
No.
glad she wasn't doing homework.
Right? It was so weird.
Yeah. And it was so much more dramatic in the show, like the whole calamity party thing. And
For such a small town, there were an awful lot
yeah,
of people at that calamity.
and it was like you could just go to a calamity party. Like it wasn't like this special secret like invite that you had to get to go to a calamity party
Right.
in the book. Like in the show they made it this whole thing where they had to like get the right person and had to get a secret code and go to the secret location to get into this party. For some reason it's a cave in the woods and it's a rave cave or something crazy. And I'm like, what is this rave cave? Like this is I've never seen this in my life. Who if you can't tell me that we ain't getting noise complaints in the rave cave. Like, come on. This is insane. In this small town.
And they start crawling through those tunnels. I was like, "Nope,
Yeah,
mm-mm.
that's gonna be a no from me. I'm
Get
not
me
going
there."
in the high school rave cave. Okay? No thanks. And I'm like, who's paying for the sound system down here, first of all?
Yeah,
Who's
they've got
paying for the
some
sound
serious
system?
like extension cords running for
Yeah.
miles into the
Yeah.
woods.
Who's actually paying for the electricity in here? Whose parents are connected to
Who
the
donated the
electricity?
generator? Like,
Yeah, exactly. And like all the lights down there and like oh my gosh, it was very over the top. So huge. The whole reason that Pip is going to this calamity party, she's like, okay, so Max said that he was getting drugs from Andy at calamity party, so I'm gonna go undercover and go see who's dealing drugs at the calamity party. So that's like the whole point of her going to this party. And we've encountered like another huge difference between the show and the book, and it's this Howie Bowers person
mhm,
that she encounters. So in the show, Pip encounters a boy that takes her to this man that's his name is Howie, and at the calamity party. And Howie is actually this drug dealer that would work with Andy.
mhm,
In the book, this is much more elaborate thing where when Ravi gives Pip Sal's phone, remember whenever she was looking through it, there was a note in it with a license plate number.
mhm,
And a connection is eventually built to the point that she finds the license plate is connected to this guy, Howie. There's a bunch of clues that happened here. Like I said in part 1, for every clue in the show, it feels like there's 8 clues in the book, like
mhm.
that build to this moment, which we get why that happens. But in the book, it's just a little bit more exciting because, like, I feel like like I said before, it's like a popcorn thriller where, like, every single page you're
Mhm.
turning, there's a new clue happening on the next page. And that's, like, a little more fun to read.
But also, why is Howie at this party?
Yeah.
I don't I was a little frustrated because like in the book, Howie is like the main dealer guy, but he's too old to be hanging out with the teenagers and he knows it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Andy starts selling for him because she's like, I'm young enough to get into these parties. I can sell
Mm-hmm.
for you at these parties.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
for him to be in this party, and he's not a teenager even
No.
in the show, he's a full grown man in the
Yeah.
show.
Another 40-year-old.
Pretty much.
Another 40-year-old, but like actually 40.
Yeah.
Like not like 20-year-old pretending to be 40. Like this man has to be 40 hanging out at this party.
And he's like holding court
Mm-hmm.
at this, like he's like
Yeah.
up in a chair, like he's in his own section of the
Mhm.
cave, and there's furniture in there, and he's got like a big armchair, and he's like I don't know, like people have to like be allowed entrance to him kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
very weird.
And here comes Pip. I need to ask you a few questions.
And that's literally what she does. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
She's like, so and so sent me to you. And he was like, he owes me 60 quid. And she's like, if you can answer some questions for me, I can pay you.
Yeah.
Like, I
That's
don't know how
literally
much
what
60
happens.
quid is, but I ain't handing that over to a drug dealer just for some questions.
Yeah. But it does eventually get her some important information. And
Yes.
the end game is, like I said, the end game is still the same, whether it's from the book or the movie. When she has a conversation with Howie, she finds out Andy had a burner phone and she used codes for names whenever she would write down
Mhm.
different names in order to, whenever she would sell drugs, because, Howie told her to do that so that you wouldn't get caught. And in the show, I don't remember this being in the book, but in the show, Howie says that she hid drugs in a bunny, like in a stuffed
Yeah, in the book
bunny.
it's hidden in the same like
It's under the floorboards in
Right.
her closet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But in the book it was, I remember that it was in the closet. But she also questions, like, Pip has the audacity to sit here and be like, do you have an alibi for this night whenever Andy went missing? And this man is like, are you dead ass right now?
I every single episode at some point I question Pippa's intelligence.
Like, is this
And it
17-year-old
only gets
girl?
worse as we go on. Like in the first
Mhm.
episode, I'm just kind of like, oh, that was dumb, Pippa. In the second episode, I'm like, are you stupid? The
Yeah.
third episode, I'm like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You know, like she just, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Like in his own domain,
Yeah, not
you
that
taunt the king.
Well,
'Cause he's
in the
like,
book, she shows up at his own house.
yeah.
But
Follows him to his house and then blackmails him.
yeah, because she
Yup.
has these, like, incriminating photos of him selling drugs to, like, minors.
But at least then she's got Ravi with her. She at
Yeah.
least in the book has the intelligence to not do this
Mhm.
alone.
Yeah.
You know?
So at that point in the show, like I said, Endgame is still the same. We get the same information. She's like, all right, I need to get this. I need to access this burner phone. I need to find these things because that's probably going to have more information. Also, I'm adding Howie to my suspect list.
Mm-hmm.
But then she's like really freaked out by Howie in the show because it's like, this guy's really scary. I need to get out of here. And then she's basically like assaulted by somebody else at the party because we're at this like crazy rave party where somebody also warns her that she's like, keep an eye on your drink because people are getting roofied at this party. So you need to keep an eye on your stuff. But you want to know what? Pip is a terrible fucking friend because she dips the
She just
party and
leaves.
all of her friends at the fucking party.
And doesn't even bother to like text him, hey guys, I'm heading out.
No, because she went to the
Nothing.
party with her two friends, Cara and Lauren. And they were both like, we got to make sure we stick together because these parties are like kind of crazy and like all this stuff. And she almost gets assaulted and she literally runs for her life out the party and says fuck her friends and goes back home.
She saw Kara go off with a girl that
Yeah.
she has a crush
Right.
on. And then she's going to play Spin the Bottle with Lauren.
Yeah. But, like, you don't leave the party without your friends.
No.
Especially if you know what's
Exactly.
going on at these parties.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was shocked by that.
I was
Especially,
too.
like, it really bothered me
And
that
when
this is like
she left, she walked through the woods by herself.
Yeah.
At a party where she's already been assaulted and someone else is warning her that they're drugging your drinks.
Yeah.
And she just like, I guess I'm going to leave. And she doesn't tell anybody. She just starts wandering through the woods. Like,
yeah. I don't know. I felt like that was like something you could have put in there. Like, I mean, people make, like, you're a teenager. Sometimes, you make very like silly mistakes like that. And, you should learn from your mistakes from making mistakes like that. And I don't know. It was like something you could have put in the show to just be like, make sure you get your friends before you leave the party.
pretty
I don't
much.
know. And maybe a little something you could have put in there, but that really bothered me. That's like my number one rule. You never do that. And it just was like, why did you do that? And she's just like goes back home. She goes like, because she's like feeling down about things and she was really freaked out about what happened. She goes and like, cuddles. She has a little brother and she like goes cuddles with her little brother. She's like texting Ravi. I'm like, text your friends. Like, are your friends okay?
Friends.
It was, oh my God, I hate
sorry
that.
I left without you guys. I had needed a minute or whatever, but like, at least let them know where you are.
Yeah. And be like, did you guys get home okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that really bugged me. But after this point, she gets an unknown text saying, you stupid bitch, leave this alone while you still can. Remember, in our part 1, she got a message in her sleeping bag saying, like, stop Pippa.
digging.
Stop digging Pippa.
Mm-hmm.
So
and now they've got her phone number.
Yeah. So she's getting like from an unknown source text messages. So in the show, like next day in the show, she's actually confronted by Andy's sister. Whenever she's like, Pip is like standing and she's standing at like a memorial of Andy. There's like a bunch of like a painting or something.
Like a mural.
Yeah, like a mural or something. And like a bunch of flowers and everything. She's like standing and she's kind of like going through like a lot of emotions because she's getting threats while she's a 17-year-old girl. Like, I gotta keep reminding myself she's a young girl and she's doing like really scary things. She's investigating really scary stuff and she's getting threatened by some unknown source that's gonna freak you out. And she's sitting there like thinking about this and she's confronted by Becca, who's like asking like, why are you doing this? Why are you like opening this up right now? Like what is going on? Like, why would you do this? And so in the show, I hate this part in the show because Pip like freaks out and basically kind of like ditches Ravi. This has not happened in the book at this point. At this point, this has not happened in the book and kind of like ditches Ravi. And this makes me so sad. Like, Ravi's like sitting like at a restaurant and he's like calling her like, are you ready to meet up? Like, we gotta like talk about the investigation, like next steps and the stuff. Like, I made you a drink and it's sitting here and she's like, I can't like meet up. Like, I'm ready to like be done with this because she's not telling him what's happening, what she's going through her head. But he's like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, we have to be done with this, And this is about his brother. Like, this isn't just your school project. This is my brother. And so I don't know. I feel a lot for Ravi a lot.
I do too. And I really, again, this is the difference in Pip too. Like, at this point in the book, she
doesn't care about those texts.
No, she is more determined than ever to continue doing this. She just knows that she has to stop talking about it, be a little bit more careful about it. You know what I mean?
Because she's not telling anybody about these texts at all. She's like, I'm just going to keep this to myself.
Yep.
Yeah. And so in the show also, her mom is like she's like looking at her kind of like going spiraling a little bit, sees Pip spiraling and she's like, you're going to change your project topic, which does not happen in the book. They're like still like so supportive of her doing this project. They're just like, you do you. Like, they treat her like a little adult. Like, they don't care. They're just like, you do you. You're...
Her parents do argue amongst each other about her
Yeah.
doing so much homework, but
Mhm.
they do support her 100%.
Yeah. But yeah, in the show, they're like, she's like, you need to change this project because it's like affecting you too much. But then she kind of gets this moment where she's like, no, I'm going to keep going. It's time to keep on pushing. And then she like meets up with Ravi again, and Ravi and Pip break into the Bell's house, which is back aligning with how the book is as well.
Mm-hmm.
Breaks into the Bell's house, and I hate this shit.
I hate it so much.
Even
like,
in the book, this had
Yeah.
me like,
heart is pounding out of my chest. I'm like,
Yep.
can't breathe.
this
But-
was the most suspense I think I've experienced in the entire all the books, suspense books we've read so far together. This was the most suspenseful moment. I was just like,
even in the show, like, I feel like, I don't know what was
they
worse,
did so well
the
in
book
the
or
show. They were both really like had me, and I watching the show, I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I was still like, no, oh
the
God.
show made me mad. I'm not gonna lie. The show made me mad.
Oh.
Yeah. So in the show, Pip goes in by herself. Book, Ravi and Pip go in together. Pip goes in by herself at first in the show. Ravi and Pip go in together in the book. Okay, so they break into the Bell's house because what are they looking for? They're looking for the burner phone. They want to know where the burner phone is because they think it's going to have information that they need.
And by break in, we mean they use a spare key that's hidden outside the house.
Yeah. So they go look for the spare key, go in because they've been staking out the house. They see the dad left, Becca left. So they're like, all right, let's go in. Go into the house. It killed me in the show because they're going in the house and all the rooms have no names on it, but we got a big Andy on one room.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that must be where Andy's room is.
Bingo.
All right. Easy. I'm like, oh, okay.
I wonder which bedroom is hers.
Yeah, okay. So they sneak in, or in the show, Pip is sneaking in there by herself, but in the book, they're sneaking in there together looking for this burner phone. So in the show, Pip is looking for the stuffed bunny because she thinks the burner phone is going to be in the stuffed bunny. And she's like opening all these bunnies, like cutting them open. And so dramatic too.
Ripping them apart with scissors and
Lily like throwing her whole arm back and stabbing the bunny. Like not even doing it like meticulously to like not, it was like
make a giant mess.
Yeah.
Not even feeling if they're cut open already. Like, how is she putting things in the rabbit if it's not already open?
Right.
It's going to sew it up every time.
And it was...
angry.
Yep.
It was ridiculous. It was really, really bad. And so as she's doing this, she's like trying to find this bunny with drugs in it. And Ravi's downstairs and sees somebody has come home. And so he is texting Pip and being like, you need to come down. You need to stop. Hello. And she's not answering.
Marshmallow.
So he goes in to the house, shows up in the room. Hello. Shows up in the room. And he's like, we got to hurry, blah, 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 blah. And then they hear the door downstairs and they're like, oh my God. And then
haunted.
Lindsay's closet just randomly opened.
Reenactment.
That was really scary. Haunted.
I heard a noise, but I didn't know what it was.
It slowly opened and that was terrifying. Oh my gosh. My heart. Okay, so sorry, that was really scary. Because I'm talking about this really suspenseful scene that freaked me out.
Where the door opens.
Where the door of the closet opens.
The closet opened.
Yeah. So they hear a door downstairs, and so they go into the closet to hide. And I think they have the bunny at this point. There's a piece of fuzz on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a piece of fuzz on the ground from whenever they were like digging in it. And Becca like is in the room because she hears like she's looking for the cat or something, and the cat was possibly in there.
Right.
And they're hiding in the closet, like trying not to breathe, holding this bunny, and there's a piece of fuzz. And this part where Becca's like looking at the closet and just staring at the closet, I was like, oh my God.
Mhm.
I would like shit my pants. I would
Yep.
literally shit my pants in the closet. I would just open the closet and be like, what?
I'm just imagining the sound of you shitting your pants being the thing that gives you away.
Did anyone smell that?
You really are the clueless detective. You get caught by the smell.
Oh my God. But then, like, okay, so after that, actually, I'm gonna hop over to the book instead. The book, this is different because the book is okay.
Okay.
The book is different because they are looking for the burner phone in the closet, don't find a burner phone, but they do find her like agenda, and Pip takes pictures of her agenda. And her agenda has these these abbreviations. Okay. So these different abbreviations that Howie talked about before that she would use so that people wouldn't know what you're talking about or who you're talking about if you got caught. So she takes a bunch of pictures of the agenda. Here's the door downstairs, freaks out, hides in the closet. Kind of same thing in the book. But Becca eventually leaves. But Becca leaves completely in the book. In the show, she's still downstairs, but she's with somebody. And they hear them downstairs in the show, and they go and sneak out and just like, they're like, all right, 5, 6, 7, 8, and run out the front door. With them still downstairs. I'm running downstairs, still shitting my pants. Still shitting.
Leaving a trail.
Crop dusting all the way out.
That's my tactic. They don't even follow me because it's just so bad.
Oh.
I get a name for myself at that point.
Oh, Lord.
So apparently Keri turns into Pharaoh when she's scared. Her bowels turn watery.
Honestly, that makes total sense. Every time I read that, it makes sense. Oh my God,
Lord.
I'm crying.
Okay. All right.
Just imagining. It's like a cartoon. Okay.
All right.
Because in the show, they're running out to the car and they're like giggling and running out because they got away, even though like you're literally stomping down the stairs like a bunch of elephants.
Literally threw the door open and slammed it shut.
Like, I'm sorry, like, and honestly, they're in the hallway. They're gonna hear you.
Right.
And she's with Dan, the cop, who's also Nat's brother. That's who's in the house with Becca. And as they're driving away, you see him standing out in the street watching them drive away. So he saw who it was that ran out the house. And that is the end of episode 3 of the show. I don't know if anyone followed the end of that. Apparently I was in there too. Okay.
We were all in there at this point.
Yeah, we were all in the closet. We were all running. We were all shitting. It was crazy.
That was just you.
The ghost broke out of my closet. Didn't want to be in there.
Yeah. That was a lot. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, on to episode 4 of the show.
My first note of episode 4 is Ravi seems to recognize an awful lot of drugs. Because they're emptying out this bunny in the back of her car in some random field. And she's like, what is it? And he just starts naming off what everything is. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Also, he says, I always wanted to pursue a career as a small town drug dealer.
Oh.
Don't do this to my boy.
Oh.
Yeah. He not my Ravi.
No.
Sal hated drugs.
Hated them.
Yeah.
He would never. Ravi would never.
Like
Nope.
at this point, they're pretty convinced that that text about like I'm not talking to you again until you stop was probably that Sal had found out about the drugs,
Yeah. Exactly.
and so that's what they're kind of working on at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Yeah.
at this point in the book and in the show, they are learning a ton of stuff about Andy that's shocking and surprising to them.
Yeah.
That changes the narrative of who they thought Andy was.
Mm-hmm.
They're not learning a lot about Sal that changes who they think Sal was.
Mm-mm.
You know, they're learning a little bit about like, well, you know, the police say he was really angry. Well, yeah, he's angry. He's being accused of murder.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing that's coming to light that changes the way they look at Sal, and which only makes them want to work harder at solving this, because to them, there's no way Sal could ever have done this.
Yeah, because what he's being accused of is so like shocking
Yeah.
to everyone.
Murdering his girlfriend and then offing himself. Like
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Yeah. So like you said, episode 4 starts with them going through the bunny, but in the book they're kind of going through that planner that they found.
Mhm.
But I think this is supposed to be the equivalent to them going through the bunny and finding a note inside the bunny. They haven't found a burner phone at all.
Mm-mm. But they
But
found
they've-
like some sort of code
Yeah.
notes,
A
coded
note
notes.
that has like a little code of saying like this mean like initials and things like that, like different initials. There's also a phone number in the planner photo and also on the note.
Mhm.
And I like the little added thing that they do on the show where she actually adds the phone number in her phone because she makes an assumption that this could possibly be, quote, secret older guy.
I thought
Yep.
the phone number came in later in the show. I thought it was at the Ivy house in the.
Oh, it might have.
Oh,
I
might
thought it
have
was on
been.
the note. I thought it was on the note.
I thought it was at the Ivy house when she
Was looking at the registry.
Yeah. And it had the names and it had a phone number.
So that's what's on the note.
Maybe.
Though,
Okay, maybe. Yeah.
is she finds that on the note it's like some sort of embossed like
Yeah.
note stationery type thing, and she kind of like rubs her pencil on it and it says Ivy House.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm getting mixed up because in the book she finds it on the agenda, which is supposed to be kind of like they're kind of mixing it up between the book and the show of what this little note thing is.
Yes.
There is like a little phone number that's blacked out by like a marker or something on the agenda, but she's kind of trying to put it together what that phone number is, assuming that it is secret older guy.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, the note looks like it's on like stationery for Ivy House Hotel. I like how they do this in the book, finding out what the Ivy House Hotel is.
Right.
Because there is the initials like IH, I think.
No, it's just IV.
IV.
Oh, IV. It's in the agenda or the planner picture that they were taking, and they're trying to figure out different places of what IV could stand for. And Ravi, he's sending like a bunch of places that it could be a possibility, and she's looking through the pictures of the Ivy House Hotel because that's one of the options he gave. She's like looking through like reviews that people have been doing in like the pictures that they put in the reviews, and she sees the flooring of one of the photos, and it clicks in her head. It's the same flooring that's in the picture that Max had in his bedroom that Andy took a picture of herself in. And she's like, oh, we need to go there. That's what that is. Ivy House Hotel.
I saw IV and immediately thought 4. So I was glad
I did
they
too.
threw that in there too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Ravi and Pip go to the Ivy House hotel to investigate.
And right off the bat, another moment of "Are you stupid?" in the show, because Pip walks in and she goes, "I'm Pippa Fitzamobi, and this is my friend Ravi Singh, and we're looking into it." Like, she right off the bat gives them the real names.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like, girl.
Full government names too.
Yeah. Like,
Mm-hmm.
could have been like, hey, I'm Pip, and this is my friend Robbie. We have some questions about this Nate. Could you help us? Like, whatever.
Don't even
But
say your name. Hey, help me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm doing a school project. Can you help me? I have some questions about this. Like, whatever. But just full names, right? Like,
Yeah.
she needs to learn to investigate more. Maybe take a page out of Stephanie Plum's book. Like, go get you a ranger is what you need.
True. Maybe she'll get there eventually. She's learning. She's
There you
learning.
go. There's a whole series. Maybe she
Yeah.
gets a
She's still in
mentor.
high school, so,
Yep.
let her graduate.
Fair.
True.
Fair.
So she goes to investigate at this
Oh,
hotel.
Ooh, another thing that made me mad in the show. She basically tells her mom, I'm going to go do this. And her mom is like, no, I think you need to stay
Oh,
home.
yeah.
And
I hate this.
she's like, no, I'm going. And her mom's like, no, you're staying home. And then she just turns around and leaves anyways.
Yep.
That
I was like,
there's
I could never do that.
mm-mm.
I'd never do that in my life.
I'd be dead.
I
You'd be solving my murder.
pretty much. Like, not only would I have never done that because my parents would have not let that stand, but my daughter would not have done that. And she would probably have watched the show and turned, like, if we had watched it together, she would have turned to me and been like, how is she not dead?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
Plot
And then when
twist.
she comes home, her mom is just all like, Pip? And she's like, yeah, mom. She's like, I love you. Like,
Yeah.
no. If you came home after doing that to me, you don't have a car anymore. You don't have a phone anymore. Like, if you think you can leave this house on your own 2 feet, I ain't gonna stop you, but you ain't taking any of my shit. You're not eating my food. You want your blankets back. You're gonna have to earn some money and pay for them. Like, I would, like, she was, I love you. And I thought, what kind of mother? What kind of mother lets her child walk all over her like that? I was not pleased. Sorry.
Plot twist. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder isn't Pip solving the murder. It's how Pip got murdered.
Yeah.
It's Pip's ghost trying to solve a murder.
Yeah.
That's the plot twist we didn't see coming.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Okay, so in the show, she's trying to get to this guest book so that she can see who was checked in during the time that Andy went missing. Eventually, during this whole dramatic thing that happens that involves a fire alarm and stealing the guest book in the show, she discovers there's 2 undercover names checked in during that time when Andy was missing, and she thinks that it was Andy and possibly secret older guy. But then a random ass storyline comes into the picture.
And I'm so mad about this too.
Okay, that's tally 3. That's tally 3 for Crystal.
This episode, I
Yeah.
started getting real pissed
This
off.
storyline really pissed me off. And I
See?
don't really even know why it was in here. But when she's looking, I think it was maybe like I don't know if it's like a red herring type of thing going on here, but I was like, we don't need this in here. And she sees in the guest book around the same time that she sees the 2 undercover names, her dad checked in to the Ivy House Hotel. This is not in the book whatsoever.
No, in the book, her parents are infallible. They
Yeah.
are literally the wonderful parents that every child wishes they had. And
Yeah.
she has complete faith in them, and they have complete faith and trust in her. This is I think, because I thought long and hard about why did they even put this in there. And the only thing that I can think of is that it shows the parallel between you have so much faith and trust that Sal didn't do this because you knew him better than that. Then I need you to trust when I tell you nothing happened. Your mom and I just needed a break. And even if all the evidence points the other way, you have to have faith in the man you know. And that's the only thing that I can think of. They were trying to like draw that parallel, but it still just made me mad because like even as a reader, like Victor was supposed to be like, because that's not her bio dad. He's been her dad since she was 4, but she's like, I shouldn't have to draw the distinction. He raised me. He's my dad.
She
And I
calls him dad in the book.
all the way
She-
through.
She calls him Victor in the show.
Yeah, and that really just broke my heart because that was something that was put in the book on purpose, that she shouldn't have to draw the distinction, that she doesn't have to explain herself to other people. That's her dad, and her half brother is her brother, and she shouldn't have to explain to everybody that, like, he's my half brother and that's why he's black and I'm not. Like, she shouldn't have to say that. And so the fact that the show kind of did draw a hard line in those relationships, but really just, it was just unnecessary, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. And at this point, she starts, like you said, like she starts accusing her dad of having an affair, and she's also like kind of just like her brain is like muddled by this entire case, and she can't see past it. And you know, I think she's kind of, what I'm assuming is she's thinking that he's almost could be a suspect of secret older guy as well.
Right.
So, which is, I'm like, what in the hell is this? This is stupid.
She also calls her mom an idiot at this point.
Yeah, this girl, like, how is she still alive? I have no idea.
I'm telling you.
This is not my Pip.
This is not
my Pip.
This is not the Pip from the book at all.
Nope. So right after this moment, she is interrogated by Dan, the police officer and Nat's brother. Remember, he saw Ravi and Pip run out of
The Bell
Bell's
House.
the Bell's house whenever they tried to sneak in. Apparently, all of us tried to sneak in with them.
Mhm.
So he actually confronts her and shows her Sal's interrogation video whenever he was first questioned with the police. And it shows like him, quote, getting violent, and she kind of like freaks. It's like, it shows like a very small clip, like a small
Right.
random moment to basically skew her view of him and shift her perspective, and it works and freaks her out a little bit.
And she
Like, because
does.
she's like never seen him like that before. And remember, she keeps thinking back to this moment in flat, which is not in the
Mhm.
book, of Andy trying to get away from Sal, and her being like, shh. And like Sal confronting her and being like, did you see Andy? And the memory keeps shifting, if you notice. Like the
Mhm.
memory keeps changing where she's thinking of it differently. Sometimes he looks angry, sometimes he looks
Yep.
like happy, sometimes he just is like looks questioning, because she's like can't really remember it right, but this interrogation video freaks her out. And I think it's supposed to be similar to the interview she receives from the police
Right.
in
Which
the
she
book.
got on my birthday.
Oh,
Oh, there you go.
there you go. Shout out to Lindsey in the book. The author did it on purpose. We know it.
For real.
And yeah, so she gets like the interview from the police in the book, and she realizes that Sal in the book looks very suspicious because he's like not really giving any information
Right.
that
And
he
he's
should.
unwilling to talk about certain things.
Yeah.
Which we know is probably that he's not wanting to get Andy in trouble for having sold drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, the police obviously don't know that.
Yeah.
And it makes him look really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the show, this is when Pippa does the very traditional teenage dramatic moment, and she is so muddled in her head at this point that she drives to a random field, parks her car, and runs out to the center of the field to cry. Really? Really? Like, that's not my Pip.
Nope, not my Pip.
Nope.
That is not my Pip. I mean, maybe for like the cinematic vibes, I don't really know, but not my Pip. So after this, also in the book, she keeps the police interview from Ravi because she's like, he's looking a little sus. I don't really want to get that in his head, so I'm not going to show him.
Mhm.
But in the show, she tells Ravi about the interrogation video that she watched and that he don't look
And
so
Ravi
great.
gets pissed off.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like,
He's
well, what do you think? Sal's going to be pissed because he's freaking being accused of something he didn't do.
Yep.
Like, we think that he didn't do something.
Now, Sal did straight up get violent in
Yeah.
the interrogation.
Like, he
Yeah.
throws his chair.
Yeah.
Like,
And lunges at the police officers. Like, that's not my Sal either. Sal
No.
wasn't violent.
Mm-mm.
no.
No. So then after this, another big difference between the book and the show. In the show, Naomi sees Pip putting a lot of things together and feels something. And so, Pip is like been distancing herself from her friends a lot. And so she's been so she goes over and she's hanging out with Kara. Remember, Kara is the younger sister to Naomi. Naomi has been kind of like avoiding them a lot because she's the one who said that Sal lied about, the time that he left and she was supposed to be an alibi.
Mm-hmm.
So she actually says to Pip, and she says, use my laptop to like watch this movie that you guys should watch this movie. It's called Tango Tits. In the book, this is different. Pip gets very sneaky and
Mm-hmm.
she knows that Max has like I forget what there's like a name for this when you have like a different social media to put all your like party pictures on. And
Shoot.
it's
A
called
Fosta,
something.
Finsta, Friends, Insta.
Yeah, like a Finsta. And his Finsta name is Nancy Tango Tits. That's Max's name on there. And she can't have access to it because she's not friends with him on there. And Naomi does. So in the book, Pip gets sneaky and gets Naomi's password from Kara to get onto this Tango Tits profile. But in the show, Naomi's like, you should look at my laptop and look this up. So Endgame is still the same. Pip finds a picture that confirms that Sal was telling the truth about the time that he left his friends the night that Andy went missing. He said he left his friends at 12:15 a.m. and a picture on this Nancy Tango Tits profile confirms that because it was supposed to be removed and it's still on this profile and Pip finds it. And so in the show, Pip goes, because that night Naomi's supposed to go to some like class reunion. This doesn't really happen in the book, but there's
Who
a
does
class
a
reunion.
5-year class reunion?
I know,
Nobody.
right?
No one. So they go to this class reunion and Pip goes to crash it and sees Naomi and she's like, we need to talk like right now. And she's like, why did you lie and say that he left at this time at 10:30 when he was telling the truth the entire time? And Naomi's last line of the show, because they know what we did. Dun, dun. And then I love the soundtrack. I mean, literally the last song, because or when you see me in the crown from
Yup.
Billie Eilish.
Mm-hmm.
And this is me levitating.
Lord.
I love that. Like literally when the music was coming in, the Billie Eilish song was coming in with that last line. That was so good. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, I love it. I love it so much. It was so dramatic and extra. It was perfect.
It was.
Loved it. Okay. Final thoughts? Anything?
Persons
How are
of
we
interest:
feeling? Yes.
Jason Bell, Naomi Ward, Secret Older Guy, Nat Da Silva, Daniel Da Silva, Max Hastings, and Howie Bowers.
Sounds about right. You know what's so unfortunate is like Nat is not like a person of interest in the show.
Mm-mm.
Like it's not even indicated as a person of interest.
Nope.
But in the book is 100% a person of interest the
Yep.
entire time. Because she also leaves, we don't really say this before, but she left like a threatening note in her locker
In Andy's locker.
in Andy's locker, like right before she went missing too. So that's why she was also a suspect. But
And they thought it was
storyline,
Al that did it too.
yeah, storyline is out the window in the show.
Yep.
But hate to leave you on a cliffhanger,
No, we don't.
but we also love it. But you'll have to come back for the third and final part in our Good Girls Guide to Murder series. We've solved some puzzles, made some wild guesses, and probably missed a lot of clues along the way.
Mm-hmm.
If you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. If you have your own theories or questions, hit us up on our socials. We are available on Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. We also have a book adaptation submission form in the show notes, so don't hesitate to send us an adaptation you loved or hated so we can possibly cover it in the future. Until then, stay curious, stay suspicious, and remember, nothing's ever as it seems, except maybe that snack stash that you have. That's exactly what it looks like. We will see you in the next chapter based on a book. Bye.
Bye.